So we're looking at existing home sales. Got about half a minute. Now, the housing market, well, let me get in the room in 1 second. Bear with me.
This time last year, or let's talk a month from now, a year, 11 months ago.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Existing Homes, the 10-minute trades trade room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-minute trades. Please remember that all trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, trade wisely. Now, I said this morning that we really didn't have very good reports today. Now, it's nobody's fault if you don't have good reports. Right now, we're going to wait for the market to open. So here's the issue. Existing home sales is totally inconsistent, okay? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss. If you look at the DMM, it really has struggled over the past 6 months. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll show you some videos. Give me a second. So if we look at the DMM, there's also a 945 report that has been pretty much untradeable. Last month it worked. It was the first time the report worked properly in about 6 months. Every now and then it'll hit a target and then pull back. So I'm not really interested right now in trading the final manufacturing. I'll set up a little quick trade because I want to know if it's going to work going forward, but I'm not real optimistic. Now, I like to spend my money on reports that I think are going to give me an opportunity to make money. Now, if existing home sales was as good as the data, if the response was as good as the data, I believe that existing home sales are going to be fantastic. They're going to be fantastic. Because existing home sales, everywhere, everyone that I talk to, everybody that's involved in real estate, if they're trying to sell a house, they're getting multiple offers above asking price on everything, not just on 1 or 2 properties that are good, almost on everything. In other words, there is a shortage. So here's the thing that could hurt the report. There also is a shortage of inventory. So you could have bad data because there's not enough product, okay? But there is no denying that the housing market right now is on fire. The housing market is on fire, okay? The first report, and I'm just going to set up a little sample trade for fun, okay? And then I'll set up existing homes. The report that's coming out now at 9:45 is called Final Manufacturing or Manufacturing Services PMI. Manufacturing Services PMI. Only once in the past 5 or 6 months has it worked well. Only once. So I was thinking about trading it when I did all the research. I looked at the response and I realized this trade's not really working. I don't want to lead you all into a trade that isn't making money. You know the deal. I will trade real money on reports that I think give us an opportunity to make money. If it's inconsistent, I would not trade my family's money on inconsistent reports. I wait for them to get more consistent. So right now, this report, manufacturing PMI, and it is preliminary data, which is good. It is manufacturing data, which is good. I do believe that's going to be a big offset. Okay. In other words, I believe the number is going to be good. But what I've been seeing on the report is that gold has not always been moving in the right direction. It's been inconsistent. So those are not the reports, especially on a Friday, that I'm jumping into, because I don't want to lose money on a Friday on a report that I don't love. You know, I love Jobs Friday. I love when there's a really solid report on a Friday that we have an opportunity to make money on, CPI or GDP, right? But unfortunately, manufacturing PMI, it's unofficial. We don't have a report for it. It's a trade I've been looking at, and the testing on it has been lousy, okay? Last month was the first time in ages, months, that it worked well. So I'm going to test it. I'll put it in my journal, and that's how you do it. I mean, you've got to keep an eye on reports that might make you money down the road. It's not a waste of time. And this report is at 9:45, and then we'll set up a trade for existing homes. So my setup on this trade, and it is manufacturing data, a bracket of 6, one position for 4 ticks, one position for 12 ticks, a stop of 10. And my entry time is 9:45, okay? That's how I'm trading it. GC, it's manufacturing PMI, services PMI. Is it going to work? Unknown. It worked last month. It did not work. You wouldn't have traded it in December. In October, whoops, here's October. Let me make sure in November, I apologize. So here's November's manufacturing PMI. And it was I remember that trade. It was such a big move that it canceled my trade because it happened too fast. That was a rarity trade, Let me show you the right one. I apologize. That was not the one I wanted to show. Hang on one sec. Let's look at October. So October 23rd, it's 9:45. Look at the move. See, we look on this side. Look on this side. Gold is what I would trade. The NQ is a disaster. And gold had no response, okay? Did not have a good response. The news was mixed also. The news was mixed. Then if you look at here's the way it's supposed to work when life is good. This is the only time this trade worked well was last month. 1 month is not enough to risk your money on. You need to see a couple, three trades in a row that are decent, or 2 out of 4, right? 2 out of 4. It's not 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 5 is acceptable. You don't want 50-50 if you're thinking about trading a report for the first time. This is how it's supposed to work. In January, it worked, but I don't have faith yet because I don't have enough steady trades that this is going to work again. You had beautiful data also. Gold moved down on the data. All right. So one more time, the setup that I'm going to use. A bracket of 6. It's manufacturing data. One position for 4 ticks, one position for 12 ticks, a stop of 10 ticks, entry at 9:45. Okay. Entry at 9:45. Look at that move on gold at 9 o'clock, 1771, 1786. Gold went up $15 in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 minutes. $15 in 10 minutes. At roughly at 9 o'clock, a little bit started moving before 9 o'clock. So what announcement was made at 9 o'clock, right? Something had to have been announced that spooked the gold market. So I'm also watching the ES to see if there's any interesting move on the ES on this report. Manufacturing PMI. Manufacturing PMI. And then we'll stay here for existing homes. Evans, it's great to see that you made it in the room. All right. So we got 3 minutes. Now, what you're looking for, as we always talk about, is our entry time too late or is it safe? In other words, we've been noticing entry times are difficult. Entry times have been difficult. It's been one of the most challenging issues that we've been faced with. On some reports, not on everything. Oil, gas, has been totally not problematic for entries. But some of the smaller reports have been trickier with entry time. So did all of you watch those Robinhood hearings? Very, very interesting stuff. They're not admitting it, but Robinhood was in trouble that day. They had to raise money in an emergency. That's what it looks like to me. I remember that day. I remember Robinhood made an announcement that they were raising money in an emergency. It was a capital infusion. And when a broker has a capital infusion, it always worries you that something's going on and they're not being forthright about it. I think the winner, yes, he did admit it, that they had a liquidity problem. I think the big winner is the GameStop company because their stock is still in the 40s, right? The whole thing is a very strange situation. So 9:45, we're looking to see if our bracket is safe. You're looking for data that all agrees. I believe the data is going to be good. Manufacturing, services, going to be good. Should drive the price of gold down. That's what I'm thinking will happen on this trade. But as I said, it has been an inconsistent report. Entry time was fine. The news is matching. I would not trade. I would cancel this trade. Matching news. So let's watch. Let's watch. The price, if anything, it should not have filled. You did not want to be filled long because the data is good. Okay. That's what matching news can do to you. It can fill you incorrectly or create a chaotic result. You see why I didn't want to trade this with real money. I'm not crazy. You know I'm not crazy. It may still work. It might work. It might go up, but up is not really the right direction. The manufacturing data, which is, in my opinion, the most important data, was matching. It was expected, as expected. And the services data was better than expected, which should drive gold down. Okay. So had you traded it, look, I mean, it goes the wrong way. It makes no sense. Why does the market? It's because this report isn't big enough to give you, it's not really, I don't believe that the market is responding to the news necessarily. Okay. I don't believe the market's responding to the news. That's what I think. Okay. That's what I think. And that's why I would not have traded it. I'm sorry. Ironically, you have a report that works, but it doesn't make any sense. So you have to continue to watch it, and you have to continue to try and figure out what's going on with the report. I mean, that's the truth. You don't know what's going on with the report. It just might be too small a report right now to make any sense to trade with real money. So give me 1 second. That's manufacturing, PMI, services. All right, so bear with me for 1 second. All right, so existing homes, all right, existing homes, the news will probably be good. The report is a 50-50. 50-50. 2 stops, October, September. When you look at the recent wins, I don't see great wins on this particular report. Okay, I don't see great wins on this particular report. So existing homes. We have a setup. So here's the setup. And gold is extremely volatile this morning. Now remember, the market's open 9:30, right? 9:30 to 10. Gold's been heading back up. Okay, making new high after new high after new high. Makes a report that is somewhat inconsistent harder to trade. The setup that we have on this trade is a bracket of 6. A bracket of 6. One target for 3 ticks. One target for 7 ticks. And a stop. Sorry, one position. A target of 3 ticks. So what does that tell you? This report is kind of a small moving report. One of the winners only went 10 ticks. So one position for 3 ticks, one for 11. You have a stop of 11. Do you want to risk $220 on a report that is a coin toss? Okay, it's a coin toss. The entry time is 9:59:58. 9:59:58. $9:59:58. Let's check our time. How do you check your time? Go to the website time.is. Go to the website time.is. Time is exact. Time.is will put your computer in sync so that you are ready to trade the report. So existing homes, I do believe the data will be positive if there's enough inventory. That's the issue. If there's a shortage of inventory, then you could get a report that doesn't work the way you expect. Okay? So existing homes, we're using a setup. We're entering 9:59:58. 30-second cancel. If it doesn't get filled, 3-tick target, 7-tick target, 11-tick stop. The report's only been 50-50. And that last report in January, filled and worked, if I remember correctly. So January worked on existing homes. But remember what I said, it's 50-50. It's 50-50. November. The news was very good. Gold should be shooting down on that news, and you have no response. No response. It's a 20-second cancel, and it would not have filled in 20 seconds. It looks like to me. The entry was 30. It got to 40. Okay, so that was officially a canceled trade. Let me make sure I'm right about that cancel. No, David, I don't get up at 3 in the morning. I can't get up at 3 in the morning, especially after what I went through yesterday. It's a 30-second cancel on existing homes, okay? 30-second cancel. So that could have filled if you waited 30 seconds. All right, that could have filled. But look what it did. 30 was the entry, and then it reversed. I don't see that as a very good winning trade. I don't see that as a very good winning trade. I would like to go over those European trades if people will stay in the room. I had a problem with time.is this morning also, KT. Their website was down. So use dimension 4. In other words, if you, for some reason, can't sync with time.is, use dimension 4 to put yourself to sync now. In other words, you run dimension 4, and if you click the sync now button and you see that synchronized line change, the odds are extremely good it'll put your computer in sync. But I had a problem as well with time.is this morning also. And now it's working for me. See? It's working now. Try it again, KT, with a different browser. Try it with a different browser. Just type time.is. Time.is. Existing homes. October. Okay, here's October. I have been trading this, but I am not happy with the results. Okay, not happy with the results. October filled and reversed for a stop out. Okay, filled and stopped. So yes, it could work today, but right now, this report is a 50-50. It's a 50-50. I don't like 50-50s on a Friday. I want to have a good Friday. I don't want to have a bad Friday. Now, people will stick around in the room after existing homes. I'd be happy to show you the schedule for next week and to show you the overnight. We'll look at the euro and see what happened on the overnight trades. We'll spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the room seeing what happened in the overnight trades. Did anybody trade the European reports live this morning? Anybody trade the European reports? They're 3:15 in the morning, my time, Eastern time. I don't trade that. I don't get up overnight for those reports. We've done it a couple of times. We have done it a couple of times. So the question is, existing homes, what's the data going to be look like? You know, gold has a big opening move this morning, or it had a big response to that report. If you believe that that report created that move, I'm not so sure. The data should have sent gold the other way. So we got a minute and a half, minute and a half. Minute and a half. Minute. No, David, I did not. There's only one official report, existing homes. Canada retail didn't move. This is the only official report. And right now it's on a 50-50. It's on a 50-50. So I have not been impressed with the way that it's been responding to the news. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not always right. I'm definitely not always right. Now the entry time is 58. So see what happened. It filled us to the short side. The news is good. Gold should be shooting down. It should be shooting down. It's pretty choppy, but it should go down. The news was what I said I was expecting. The news to be very good, okay? Existing home sales are good. And you're not really getting a follow through yet. Not yet. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. So gold looks like, so it hits the first target, right? You don't even get a chance to move your stop. Now you do, right? Very choppy, very choppy. So move your stop to break even. It's going to reverse and hit you. It's going to hit you. So maybe if you don't move your stop on that report, you're still in the trade, okay? If you don't move your stop, and there it goes. That's the proper direction it should go. That was the proper direction. That was a report that had correct data and very challenging behavior. Very challenging behavior. But that was a winning trade, okay? That was a winning trade, existing homes. Survived the stop, and gold responded to that report. Gold responded to that report, okay? Now, my reason for being conservative and watching today is behavior, inconsistent behavior. So it's, you know, it's a tough one. It's really a tough one. You make a decision, sometimes you don't get it right. That's life. That's life. You can't crawl in a corner and sweat it. So existing homes are working, good trade. Now, if you hang on, let's take a look at the euro, and I'll show you next week's schedule, okay? Show you next week's schedule. All right, so overnight, right? Overnight. At 3:15. At 3:15 this morning. There was a French manufacturing services PMI at 3:15, okay? Traded on the euro. Here it's 2:55, 3 o'clock, 3:05, 3:15, the news comes out, right? It shoots up. That was a very, and it reverses. Depending how fast that candle drew while you were trading would depend whether or not you would have hit your targets, okay? That was the 315. Then there was a 330 trade. 330 was the German report. That's what you're looking at here. Right here, you've got the German report. So the French report shoots up, possible first target, depending on the speed. Then the German report comes out. It also shoots up, almost looks like the same trade. And quick reverse, okay? And then it follows through on the upside. At 4 o'clock, the European version of the trade takes place. So right here, 4 o'clock, the euro's making a new high. And a pretty, not a very impactful move at 4 o'clock. It would have filled you short, okay? It would have filled you short and barely, that would have been a possible stop, okay, at 4 o'clock. Did anybody trade live overnight? Usually Jaquan trades them. And then at 4:30, you have the British version of the report. At 4:30. Here's the British version. Now that looks like a winning. Look at all the trades, almost all the big ones went up and immediately reversed. All of them went up and immediately reversed. So depending on your targets and the speed of the fill and where you were filled would have depended on whether or not you would have made money on those trades. Okay. You can get an idea what the news was like going back at 3:15, the French news was all negative, okay? Up? No, it wasn't. Hold on, yeah, 3:15, the French news was mixed. The manufacturing data was very positive and the services data was negative. The German data, the manufacturing was positive, and I think that drives the market more than the services. So the German news was more positive than negative. And then at 4 o'clock, the European version of the news right here is services are mixed. Manufacturing is up. Services were down on the European version, and the British news was all positive. The British news was all positive at 4:30, and it drove the pound up initially. And then it pulled back and went back up. See you, Paul. All right, folks, here's next week's schedule, and then everybody have a good weekend. Here's next week's schedule real quick. This is a rough version of next week. Our first room is Tuesday, CB consumer confidence, Richmond, crude oil, API, Australia, and then I'm going to stay in the room and see if New Zealand does anything. Wednesday, new home sales, crude oil inventories, Australia. Thursday, preliminary GDP, core durable goods, Thursday claims. That's a lot of news. Natural gas, pending homes is a watch. Natural gas, 7-year note, those are trades. Friday, Chicago PMI. Revised University of Michigan is a watch. Next week is quiet. And then the week after is our busy week. First week of the month. All the big trades. Any questions? Anybody got a question? Anybody got a question? So existing homes would have worked today. Existing homes would have worked today. Possibly start trading it again. It's just better, a little bit better than 3 out of 6. It's a little better than 3 out of 6. It's like 4 out of 7. So I think we'll give it a shot going forward. Okay, how do you sync time? All you should have to do normally, go to the website time.is, click it, and it should put your computer in sync. Does that not work for you, KT? What happens? What happens? Okay, so if it's still out of sync, then we have a program called Dimension 4 that you can download in the room drive. In other words, it's in the file folder in the room, and it's called Dimension 4. Download and install that. And then when you run it, it looks like this. It looks like this, and you just click the Sync Now button over and over until you see the synchronized line move. When you see the synchronized line move, then you go back and do time.is again, and your computer almost always will be in sync. Almost always will be in sync. Okay? So that's how you get your computer in sync. So there's really no other tradable events for us this weekend. So I'll see everybody next week. Have a good weekend, everybody. You too, Mark. Have a good weekend. Any other questions before we go? Ask them now. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week. Okay, folks. Have a very good weekend. YouTube folks, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like. And thank you very much for watching. Okay, folks. I'll see everybody later.